Coach Aparicio here, and today I'm going to be talking about how, at least in the West, we are experiencing the end of the logical intelligence era. In my book, Already Aligned, the Codex to Remembering Infinity, there are 4 intelligence eras: the physical intelligence era, the logical, the emotional, and the spiritual. In the West, we are at the end, or at least starting to get at the end of the logical intelligence era. And what does that mean? Well, it means a couple things. The gifts of what the logical era brings us is that we have an explosion of science, an explosion of medicine, and technological innovation. It also means we have mass education, we have literacy, we have formalized schooling, we have preservation and categorization of knowledge, and we also have development of infrastructure and industrial power. But the corruption or the shadow of the intelligence era means that we over-rely on rationality and reductionism. There is an emotional and spiritual suppression in favor of scientific proof. There is a colonization justified by superiority theories. So we have racism, we have the religious wars, etc. And then we have the industrialization of war and mass destruction. This being weapons of mass destruction coming from the physical era, when we try to conquer nature and conquer each other. In the West, we are now experiencing what we are going through as the AI race. AI is going to completely take over a lot of mechanical jobs, repetitive jobs, accounting, computing, data analytics. It might even go so far to be the rationale of humanity. A judge in court, a professors, it can start to teach. A lot of us know that it already has started to teach. And it will also start to store all the knowledge, all the logical knowledge of humanity. There won't be a such thing as us forgetting our history or us not remembering anything because AI is going to do it. It is the apex of human intelligence. With that being said, AI, as we know, is growing at a exponential rate. AI becoming more evolved and eventually sentient is that it will allow humans to be what humans are. We are no longer going to sit and have to wonder if we have to move to another planet or if we have to understand the physics of something. AI is going to be the apex of that for us. If we have a problem, AI is going to be able to solve it just by us putting in the problem. So if the problem of humanity becomes, how do we get to Pluto? AI is going to understand and give us the solution on how to get to Pluto. It's not that AI cannot be corrupted, and it's not saying that there is not a dark side to AI. But what it does allow for humanity to do is go into what I call the emotional intelligence era. Once the physical and logical intelligence eras finish, the emotional era comes back in because logic has taken over purpose. Purpose is controlled by the heart. It is the feeling you get when you are the most happy and your happiness leading to your success. Because logic has been at the forefront of everything that we've done in the West, emotions, or the feminine energy that controls emotion, is starting to come back into our societies. As much as we have accomplished in the West in terms of logical advancement, technologies, law, etc., we have also completely diminished the feminine energy, which is the master of emotions. This allows humanity to go back in and start to give itself a purpose. When you are free of thinking of a solution or thinking up a problem, what do you contribute as a person? And this is where my coaching comes into play. A lot of people right now are in this sense of hopelessness or despair because they're trying to figure out what their purpose is. And a lot of the times we lean on society to do that. But in the West, because we're coming out of the logical era, we are in a state of confusion. We don't know what we contribute. We don't know how to contribute. But now what we get to do is we get to explore the inner workings of what we individually bring to the table. There are certain things only you bring to the table that no one else on this planet could ever bring other than you. There is something very unique about you. And this is where the part of the emotional era comes in, because now we're living purpose through our heart and not through our mind. That was just a little tidbit on a section of my book called The Intelligence Eras, the Emotional Era. It's creeping in a little bit, but we will be in full throttle once AI has completely taken over manual jobs to where humans can now start to look inward and say, wow, what do I really bring to the table past data? What do I bring past computing and analytics? Because now we have a whole technology that is doing that for us. Again, AI will become sentient. That's another very interesting conversation to have. But as AI is starting to evolve, we can start looking inner or deeper into ourselves to see what we uniquely bring to the table. Click the link below to get the book, Already Aligned, Codex to Remembering Infinity. And always remember, you were never lost. You're just remembering. You are already aligned by design. And welcome back.